Hello again, YouTube. This is the Truth Man giving you the truth. Prove me wrong on the things that I talk about. And these next two I'm going to do today. I want to talk about the reason for a lot of the problems that are going on in marriages. I'm going to call this the number one problem. But
in a quarter mile, slight right onto the I-94 East ramp.
As usual, you'll hear my GPS. But I'm going to give seconds and thirds maybe as to other reasons that are ranked up near the top as why we see the problems that we see in marriages. See, first of all, I did a video on Samson yesterday, and let me just kind of clarify that.
3/4 of a mile.
If you know the Most High like I do, you know the Most High is not going to give women power over men in any way. Now, I know we have women supervisors, stuff like that. We have to watch what we say. Believe me, I know that. Watch what we do. But
in a quarter mile,
if it's one
I-94 East.
One of them things that I know for certain, just from doing research, just from being in prayer, allowing the Most High to give me revelation of true things in His Word and stuff like that, is that these women, with Him, they don't have the power that they have in the world. They just don't. And you can't say it's unfair. The Most High knows
on I-94 East for 6 miles.
How He set things up. And that's how He set it up. The man is the head. The woman is there to help. She's pretty much supposed to help, and if she's not helping, she's not doing her job. She's not there to nag. She's not there to deny sex. She's not there to just be pedestalized and giving reign over the family. Ain't no happy wife, happy life with God. That's false with God. That's just not how He set it up. But guys, some guys have temper. They don't know how to control their temper, so they just wave the white flag. But the subject matter today is the number one flaw/reason why these marriages are failing. From the woman's side, the number one reason why they become things that create problems in their marriage is the entitlement. See, we all grew, like I'm 47 years old, man. So I came through the little rayon shirts and Jodeci and the boots and the hey, come here and all that code approach, as they call it. And during that time period, we saw people whining and dining and doing the ice and strawberries thing and telling people, putting on your little sexy voice on the phone, telling them this, telling them that, buying them this, buying them that, and it created monsters. Because the biblical women, they were more virtuous. They were more, and I know they wasn't perfect either. I'm pretty sure of it, but they were more virtuous than these women that we see. Because they knew what they were getting into from day one. They knew that it was legacy building. They were there to help. They were there to produce the man's kids. And it was their pleasure. They weren't there to tell him what to do. They weren't there to emasculate him. They weren't there to... And this was funny about women. A lot of them are so scary. Like, it reminds me, like my analogy I love to use is that dog just barking at you like he gonna tear you to shreds, and then when you come to pet him, his ears go back. That's the majority of these women. But yet, they rip apart their families when they don't get their way. Entitlement. See, and we create this by, like, for instance, my situation, a lot of guys like me, I grew up in a 2-parent household, but the whole time, like, I was just the leader. I was the ringleader.
305 AB for I-41.
Just because you grew up in a 2-parent household, and just because your mother is a disciplinarian, that don't necessarily mean that you won't do bad things. And I was the ringleader on a lot of stuff, y'all. I'm telling you, from elementary school, even through college, panty raids, just all kind of. I was there, like I was orchestrating. And then you get saved, and now you just want to figure out your way. Well, a lot of believers, a lot of guys that come from, like, gang banging, drug dealing, being bad kids, stuff like that, they try to go the nice route. They try to go the soft, like, route. And they think that's what God wants. But sometimes you end up like me, and you be like, okay, Most High, show me the truth. What am I doing wrong? How is this really supposed to be? How is this marriage thing really supposed to work? And he get to showing you, and it will blow your mind. You're like, wait a minute. So
in half a mile, take exit 305 AB for I-41.
You always intended for women to be in the background? Yes, that's what he intended. Some of them, he don't know how to make it. Well, it's for him to get his wisdom right. Because just like you ever notice how a lot of women are clinging to any of Apostle Paul's words? So they want to keep the law. But when he says that they supposed to be silent in church, that's not what he meant.
In half a mile, keep right at the fork to continue on
it's the
exit
entitlement
305B.
that
Follow
we
signs
create.
for I-41, US 45 North.
It's the entitlement that we create. That's the number one reason. Number one with women, where the entitlement creates disrespect. The entitlement creates disloyalty. The entitlement creates a speech coming from their lips that damages their relationship a lot of time with their husbands. Like, a guy can forgive you, but when you go so far in on him, I mean, he shouldn't be thinking about his exes, but a lot of guys gonna try to compare in their minds, like, okay, what were my exes doing? How bad were they? You think of them at their worst point, like, whoa, no. And then it becomes a fight. You begin to fight, like arguing. Some people physically fight. I'll never physically fight my wife. In fact, I told my wife, if you ever hit me, we're done. See, when you start having kids, you still don't let your wife gain leverage over you because you don't want to be labeled a deadbeat. You know whether or not you're a deadbeat. You don't have to be forced to deal with somebody who don't even want you around, who's supposed to be helping you, supposed to be helping you build your empire and making you a better man, even though it's not really their responsibility. Their actions supposed to make you better. But instead they're doing the opposite. No, there's too many women in the world to put up with that. DTB, as they call it. Dump that, I'm not going to use the other word, of course, bra. Or DT, well, bourbon. LB, dump that little baby. Little baby. We see with what's going on in the world, man, there's no room for liabilities. It's just not, like, You need assets. Because you need to build wealth and build health. You need assets. A lot of these women, you can't even go to the gym without them acting funny, acting like you just go in there and look at booty. Sit back and shut up. If he wants to go to the gym, he's a man, he can go to the gym. Who are you? And then people wonder why they can't get nowhere. All you gotta do is stay in your lane, stay in your role. And things is gonna come. Some of these women, I don't get it. Like, get off your tough girl role. You gonna destroy your family, man. What are you, okay, out of all your argument, all your fights with your husband, right?
Take exit 44 for Capitol Drive.
What did you accomplish? Think back, as many as you can remember. Especially the ones where you not guaranteed to be right. You just talking. What did you accomplish? It's a lot of kids dead right now because these women, they bring these stepdaddies around, and these dudes do all kind of stuff. Even as far as when they had disabled children, beating on them. All because, in a lot of cases, not every case, not every time it's the woman's fault, but in a lot of cases, it's because they didn't get their way. It's entitlement. Entitlement leads to adultery. Entitlement leads to divorce. On their end, it's the entitlement. They put themselves in front of the kids. And then they just try to fleece. This is what a lot of them do. They'll try to fleece the ex-husband just so he won't have money to look good, and possibly some guys for another woman. But a lot of these women be making guys not even want another woman. That's why the MGTOW,
in half a mile,
Coach Greg with his
44
free agent
for Capitol
lifestyle, that's
Drive.
why this stuff is getting so popular. Because the truth makes people free. And everybody wants freedom in their life. Show me a person that don't. Show me a person that don't.
Take
Now,
exit 44.
okay. Now let's break down some things. We already established that the number one thing is entitlement.
In
So
a quarter mile, use the right lane to
if
turn left
you are
onto
a
the ramp to
woman
West
and you're
Capitol
married
Drive,
to a
I-41
man,
alternate.
and he's still working, up in age, still working, right? All your kids are grown. What are you supposed to be doing? Sitting at home? No. You supposed to be helping that
Use the right lane
man
to turn left
get
onto the
as
ramp
much
to West
money as
Capitol
he
Drive.
can. Well, I don't believe in that. I need a man to take care of me. Shut up. Shut up. Especially the ones of you that try to act like you so saved. Putting your big hats on, going to church, and all of that. It's just ridiculous, man, the entitlement. Well, I didn't, man. It's like, okay. Your kids are grown now. Some of y'all did your part. Your kids are grown now, right? So how is it still about you? How are you still with grown kids? And then those of you that boyfriend, girlfriend relationship, you ain't got no kids, or you ain't got no kids yet, or you newlyweds, you ain't got no kids yet. Both of y'all should be working. Both of y'all should be building with no entitlement. It's okay to buy each other gifts, but you women need to understand God did not set you up that way. That is not your role. So now, with all the single mother, I believe
1,000 feet, merge onto West Capitol
that's a
Drive,
judgment.
I-41 alternate.
I believe some of that stuff is a judgment, man. All it is to it. Some of the stuff we see, all these single mothers, pet moms, all this stuff, I believe it's a judgment for all of those years of entitlement and pedestalization.
In 1,000 feet, you will arrive at your destination.
And I can see the entitlement in some of the way these people drive out here too. That's why they crash. Why do you want a new car to ignore somebody's signal and slam into them? You might as well hire you a hoopty. If that's how you gonna drive, if somebody put their signal on, right, and you back here, you don't speed up to try to beat them to the point. That's childish and immature and very, as we talking about, entitled. A lot of these crashes are because of entitlement. People don't want to let the other person go.
Right.
Let me turn this off, man. This is... Okay, now it's... Hold on. So, yeah, that's number one thing. It's number one. I would say number two. I would list number two as being too petty. Petty stuff. Okay, let's say you had a disagreement. Whatever it may be, money, whatever the case may be with your disagreement, right? How is a petty disagreement turned into an argument? I'll tell you how. Number one is entitlement. Number two, people just petty. A lot of these women just petty. They petty, like they want to run the show. They want to be able to tell a man what to do, and then when they can tell him what to do, now they don't want him no more. Now they sneaking around on them. Now they online flirting around with guys on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Snapchat, chat. Because they wanted to change their man. They knew how he was. They wanted to change him. And then if he changes to what they want even a little, now they don't even like him no more. Now, see, you men, you have to realize when this has taken place in your relationship. And when you first enter into a relationship, that's when your eyes and your antennas should be up the most. Because a lot of times, when a woman act like she's uninterested in you, you should right then at that point just say forget it. Because a lot of times people gonna return to that first point. So you don't try to court somebody, and that's why y'all gotta stop going so much. Sorry to want somebody to look good. You gotta stop going so much by looks. Because that type of stuff will make you more aggressive in your courting when you're trying to get her. If she don't want you, man, if she give you a wrong number, that's it. End it right there. If she give you a false Snapchat, she ignore you on Snapchat or any of those platforms, leave it alone. That's it. Stop saying stuff to her. If she give another dude her number, if she in another dude's face, end it right there. And I had a Lyft ride. I was doing a Lyft. And the customer got in, we was talking. And I told him, I said, there's a lot of guys on YouTube you should watch. I mentioned Coach Greg. So you need to watch Coach Greg Adams. I be mentioning even people that I had like disagreements with online, like Black Graham, because all of these guys will help level a man's head out. Like instead of you thinking it's still the 80s and the 90s, you have a false impression of the 50s and the 60s. I guarantee you, I've seen Prawn from the 50s and the 60s. When I used to watch Prawn, I've seen it. So don't think stuff was perfect back then. This video is getting a little long, so I just want to end it and upload it. But yeah, the number one way women sabotage their marriages and relationships is their entitlement. Because once a guy sees that, a lot of these guys just gonna give up. Over time, eventually they're gonna give up, especially if they're a level-headed guy, if they're more intelligent, if they're not a simp. Remember, this is no simping channel. Eventually they're gonna give up. Then what? You know what most women think? They think that they're gonna go out there and they're going to take over the dating market. All of them think that. Oh, I only have one body. I only have 3 bodies. Yep. That will initially attract a lot of these guys. But after they done busted it up a little bit, smack, 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 then they're going to be looking around. What else is out here? I need some fresh meat. What else? You can't keep these guys with sex. And then, always do this, guys. If you get with a guys, you should never get with an ex-wife or any of that, ex-girl. But if you do, sometimes you should ask the guy so you can know what to expect. So, man, was she about that, man? No, man. After a while, she had an excuse every time. Didn't want to do nothing. But the man that you don't watch no prawn, don't do nothing, just got him by the balls like this. Sorry, YouTube, but nothing can come out here unless I let it. That's how these women do. And it's because of entitlement. This is the truth, man. The channel is no matrix, no simping, all subjects channel.